All right.
Welcome to the house of love hair.
So it's just normal,
Every
just
story,
like.
every laugh,
So what's your name?
My name is Ivan. Ivan
Live the
Gonzalez.
life you love. Never lose your heart. The house of love hair. Let's start.
On what they call like the East Side of Gilroy. So like my younger, like very youthful days. I was actually grew up like off of like I think it was like East 8. And
Would you?
grew up with like my whole family, a little apartment.
Like, what do you mean by how many in your family?
So it was me, it was my dad, my mom, my older brother, and my older sister. So it was about 5 of us in like a 2-bedroom apartment, maybe 3-bedroom apartment. I can't remember too well.
What'd your parents do?
So my dad was a mechanic by trade, and then my mom was she's a CNA and she still is a CNA. So she helps like elderly people.
Even when you were growing up, she was a CNA.
Yeah, even growing up, she was always a CNA.
And
She's actually had the same job like my whole life, pretty much.
oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Did you like? Was it a good upbringing? Was it like? Did you when your dad was working, your mom was working? Did you have like? Would you say a normal upbringing?
I mean, it says normal. I mean, normal as far as how?
Like meaning, like, was it? Were you guys rich? Were you guys?
No, we weren't rich at all. No, we weren't rich at all. No, we weren't rich at all. But we weren't poor either, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like my mom was in the system. Like we were on food stamps and housing and stuff like that. My parents were never married. So like it was always kind of like that, I guess like that fraud you could say on the side, I guess, you
Yeah.
know, like the housing come check, my dad have to like pack his stuff and leave for like a day or two. But I mean, you know, people still do it, I guess.
Were they so when your dad would like leave for food stamps, right?
It was housing inspection, yeah.
And they would actually come inside the house and
Yeah, they'd come in, they'd like go through not like, I mean, they wouldn't like go through like drawers and stuff, but they just come in, like look around, like wellness check
yeah.
per se, I guess.
Oh snap.
So like, just to make sure, you know, like to keep the housing, I
Yeah.
guess, right? And, but no, but for the most part, like, I mean, we didn't struggle, but we didn't have it all either, though,
Yeah.
for sure. But
And when they would come and do the housing check, like, did you know what was going on or?
so when I was younger, like when it first started happening, nah. I remember I actually like got in trouble with my mom because I think like the housing came and I was like, oh, where's my dad? And then she was like, you know, she's like in Spanish, she's like, oh, be quiet, you know, like you're not gonna say anything. And but no, I mean, throughout the year, like as the years went on, I got older, you know, I started realizing like, oh, okay, I get it now.
This is the process.
This is the process, you know, and like I get it now.
Yeah. And like so I'm having you on today because like you have a pretty from what I seen, like I met you at Ant Dogs, and you're just this. I would say the best word to describe you is just a good dad. Like I just see you with your kids are happy, and then I start talking to you, start hearing your background, where you come from, going from point A to point B, what you've done, not really a lot of people have done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think you know that. Like, when I hear your story, I go home and I tell my wife, I was like, yeah, this guy had to run in with the law or the system when he was a kid, and then gets out of the system and turns his life around. And I think martial arts was the biggest part of it. Like that's why I want you on and want you to tell people like your story.
Yeah, I got you.
And then so when you're going through all that, like when did it change? Like when you went from just being a kid to now, okay, now I'm in the system now, like what changed? Like what was it that took you on the wrong path as a kid?
I think I was about like 11, around 11 years old, maybe. I was 11 and like, I don't know, I guess like from like the ages from like 5 to like just about like 11, like parents always struggled, you know, it was kind of rough. And then there's a period of time where like things got really good, you know, like I think my parents bought a house and I mean, we're a typical Hispanic family, you know, like my pops had his struggles and you know, things would be rough in the household and stuff, but as far as like it wasn't all that bad up until like maybe like when my parents started splitting up, and then it got like really weird because I remember it was like I think they were split up for like maybe like 2, 3 years, but they still lived in the same household, which was like I don't know, it was just like and like I think my sister had moved out, my brother had moved out, and like I was just the only one home, and like yeah, my parents had like I had a house, we had a house, we went from a little apartment to like a decent. I mean, for me, like I think that house is still bigger than the house I live in now with my family. And yeah, it was rough, you know, like the whole you got to remember like when I was around that age, that was when like the whole financial crisis happened, like the whole like
2008.
the whole '08
Yeah.
thing. And like I didn't really know what was going on. But I remember being a kid and being stressed out about money and like being seeing my parents stressed out and stuff, right? So I just remember like I just remember I just never wanted to be home. I remember like always going home was just like I'd go to school, deal with the school problems, and then like go home and then like be a lot of problems at home and then like I just wouldn't want to go home and then you know I had an outlet where like I had these friends and like I met people and like it was cool, you know, like I just felt welcomed, felt like everything was how do I say it? Like careless.
Yeah.
Careless would be the perfect word.
Yeah.
Because it was careless. I was, that's when I got probably like the most careless in my youth.
But it was because you would go home and like your parents. I'm not saying you would go home and your parents would split up and it was kind of a weird dynamic. You're at that house. Like you think you think it'd be better if they would have just went their different ways?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
They try to stay together for you guys or
My mom wanted to keep it together
yeah.
for us. Yeah, for sure. It was more my mom than anything for sure.
Yeah. And when did you start doing like I guess criminal activities? When did you start like really going into it?
I think I was like around 12.
And what was like the worst thing you did at 12? Like not getting caught.
Not getting caught. Uh, it's like breaking into cars and stuff, and like we used to always steal radios and stuff and stupid stuff, you know, just to get like you know get baked or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I first started doing like marijuana and stuff like that when I was like around. I think I was like 12. I had to have been 12 because it was my sixth grade year.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when I was like in the pretty much the sixth grade is when like it opened up.
And did you have a mentor that kind of guided you to teach you how to? Because you're 12 years old, and when I think 12, your daughter's how old now?
My daughter's 12. She turns 13. My daughter turns 13 in October.
And it's a trip to think like, yeah, she's your age, and your kids are happy, dude. Like your kids,
Yeah, my
yeah,
kids are awesome. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, I got truly a feel like I got mixed into like a crowd like of like officially when I was 12.
yeah,
You know, like I was actually doing a lot of stuff 12-year-olds shouldn't be doing.
yeah,
And like it was a range of a little bit of everything. Like it was a little bit of everything.
yeah.
And for the most part, I mean, looking back on it, I wouldn't say it was just because my parents were going through a mix or whatever they were going through. It was just like I just felt like that was just where I was going at the time, like in that direction. I guess that's what where I wanted to go.
But it's like the little things, like it's the little things when kids are that young that it could take a little impression, and all of a sudden you're going this way, and then when you have nobody to tell you where to go, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, did you have anybody telling you like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?"
No, I didn't have anyone. No,
Yeah,
I mean, actually, I lied. No, I had family members and support systems that were like, "Hey, you're kind of going down the wrong path." And like at that time when I was a kid, I mean, I think this is just with kids in general. Like when you're a kid, like you think you're doing something right and it's right. And
yeah,
I don't think it matters what anyone tells you until like it's too like it's kind of too late, I guess, right?
yeah.
But that's how I see it, and or that's how I saw it. But I mean, but for the most part, like, yeah, like I think around like 12 years old and then all the way up until like, yeah, until I was like at least like 20.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a long time.
So you had a charge when you were how old?
My first charge was I was a freshman.
Were you in school at the time? Like were you
Yeah, I was at Gilroy High as a freshman. Yeah, I actually got a drug charge.
mar-
That was my first charge. Was a drug charge.
weed?
No, it was Diz at the time.
What's
It
this?
was a little mixed like ecstasy tablets, I guess. It was like a big thing when we were like youth, like youth.
Yeah.
I feel like only people that have heard about it will like know what it is.
So like Bay Area, like hyphy movement
Yeah,
thing.
like they would know.
Yeah.
It's like all this shit like Mac Dre like talked about or shit, you know what I mean? Stuff
And
like
what
that.
happened? Like run it down. Like what happened when you got caught?
Well, I mean, it was just like I think it was no, it wasn't my freshman year. It was my sophomore year. So freshman year, I was just in the mix doing stuff. I never actually did those kind of drugs. I used to just like smoke weed, did school, and like go hang out like at friends' houses and stuff like that. But I remember it was around the period of time where like my parents were like even more like I think I was no longer. I think my parents actually weren't together anymore. I think we actually went our own way. Me and my mom, I think we went our own way, and like that's where like the whole thing kind of like spiraled back to where like it was a flash. It was like a real life flashback. Like I remember being a kid living in a small house to being into a big house. Parents split up, and then me and my mom were like we rent like a studio garage, and like it was like it all happened again. And then like I remember that's the whole reason why like I was like, dude, I got to make some money, you know. So the reason I got caught with the drugs is because I was, I was selling drugs at Gilroy High,
Yeah.
and I think they were kind of like on to me already for a little bit, and I was actually late on my way to one of my periods, and I forgot the principal's name, but the principal was like, "Oh, like Ivan, you need to come here." And whatever. So I was like, all right, I go. They search me in the office, they find the drugs on me, and then that's where the system, that's where like I really got into the system and like I didn't get arrested that day because I think my mom came and got me, but that's when like the whole probation, the house arrest, and like it just was a like I thought I was doing bad, and then like it went to like ugly fast.
What was the fast? What was the ugly?
Well, once I got put on the house arrest and stuff, going through the court system, and like I just remember like I think I did my full term on the house arrest. I got back out, and then like I got kicked out of Gilroy High. I went to a continuation school, and I met other kids just like me. You know, I met other kids just like me, and like we all come from broken homes. You know, we all come
Yeah.
from troubled past, and like we were all just there for each other. You know what I mean? And like obviously none of us made the best decisions, but that's where like stuff got worse. You know, like I started doing more stupid shit.
Still drug dealing and all.
Yeah, I guess where drug dealing got even more popular for me.
Yeah.
And then that's like I went from selling the pills to like back to weed, and then like I was mixed in with the weed, and then like the coke and the dope, and like I think I was like yeah, I had to have been like around 15 years old.
It's
Uh,
mind-boggling to me because I grew up around it, but I mean, the first time I seen Coke was I think I was 30. Like
oh
actually seen it.
yeah,
Like I've heard of it. I've heard like my friends doing it, but never seen it.
yeah.
And it's just wild to me that you were 15 and you were basically trafficking.
Yeah, I was pretty mixed in, and this isn't to brag, you know, because like no 15-year-old should be doing that, and like
Yeah.
I never want my kids to go through that, but my mom was working her one job, and we could barely afford where we were at.
Yeah.
And so like in my eyes, like went from having a little bit of some stuff to like having nothing again. And I was like, oh hell no, like this ain't it, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was like 15 and I think my biggest sellers were weed and coke. And it was good. It was good for a little while, you know. I mean, it wasn't good that I was doing that, but the money was good, and
Did you feel like you were supporting your family? like supporting your mom?
No, she never took any money.
No,
No, she never wanted
but
any.
she didn't have to worry about you. Like you had new clothes and stuff
Yeah,
through drugs.
I had new clothes and shoes and all that, but no, she cared big time.
Yeah,
It was like big time she cared because I remember, I think it was one year, one high school year. I don't remember what grade it was, but probation was forcing me to go back to school. And I remember my mom was like stressed out, like I can't get you shoes, I can't get you pants, I can't get you nothing, you know, like, I can't get nothing for you, you know. And like in my head, I'm like, oh, it's all right, you know, like don't worry about it. And then like I remember I had her drop me off at I think it was like the outlets. I was like, oh, just drop me off here. And then like I went, I bought my stuff, I came back in. I remember that conversation was like one of the worst conversations. She's like, where did you get all this money? Like what are you doing? You know, like my mom's not a dumb woman, you know? Like
yeah.
she knew the whole time.
How much did she find on you?
The drugs?
No, the money.
I think I went to the outlets with like $800. Yeah. Yeah. I had like 800. I think I was 15. I had like $800, and then like I always had like a G or two like in the me and my mom used to share like a wardrobe like a dresser.
Yeah.
So like she had three drawers, I had three drawers. Because you gotta remember we lived in a one studio, and like I would sleep on the couch, she'd sleep on the bed. It's like super like we were making like she was making it, you know. Mom's always been a strong woman, but. And I remember like she took me to the outlets and stuff. I got my clothes. Whole drive home, she's just like ripping me. She's like, "Where'd you get this money? Like you shouldn't be doing this, like that stuff, you know." And she wasn't wrong, you know. And then like we got to the house, and then she already knew where the money was hiding, and like she pulled it out. She's like, "I know that you're," you know. And then like
Yeah.
she called probation. Probation would come, and
Oh
then like
shit.
yeah,
Well, good on your mom,
my
dude.
mom was tough on me, dude. Like it's funny though, because like I'm not gonna say that she was 100% tough on me, but it got to a point where like I think she was just like, you know what, like he's not gonna change. He's this is his path.
Yeah.
To where like she wouldn't call probation anymore. She would kind of like hide things from me, so
Yeah.
that way like I wouldn't get in the system more. And like I mean, it sounds bad, you know, but you know, any parent's not gonna want to see their kids
Yeah.
what is it called? Self-destruct themselves more, you know? And no, yeah, so like I remember I used to like whatever hide stuff from her all the time, and there was plenty of times where like that house got raided and like they would never find anything
It
at
got raided because of you?
because of me, yeah. Like, well, because the probation knows,
Yeah.
like I'd get pulled over and or like because there was always programs and stuff that I had to attend a part of probation, and like they would always I'd get searched all the time.
Yeah.
Like every time my probation officer would see me, like I'd have to get searched, like a full search. It wouldn't be like full naked search, but it'd be like all the way like search, and then like I mean, what kind of 15-year-olds walking around with like $500 to $800 on their pocket all the time, you know? And
Dude, I
like,
was back like at that like at 15, I was happy when like my parents gave me like $10 to go to Wendy's. Like the fact that you had eight hundred
yeah,
dollars is wild.
yeah, it was like I mean, I was doing well for myself, you know, but I also got into a cycle of like addiction too, though,
Oh shit.
to where like I was like there was like probably a year or so where I did have money, and then like that next few years was just like, okay, now I'm just feeling my own addiction now.
Yeah.
To where like I was doing the drugs to stay afloat, you know, like just to dealing with everything, you know what I mean? But
And how long between it started spiraling down?
probably like within like 6 months,
So
6 months to a year, yeah.
you were on a high for like 6 months to a
Oh,
year. Not drugs, but I mean like just the money. Like you're 15, you
probably
get on
6 months.
6 months. So it
Six
didn't
months of being
didn't last that
like
long.
6 months with my head on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not necessarily because it's not something a 15-year-old should do, but like as far as like I had money, I was doing somewhat good things with the money, and then it went from like okay, now I got money to where like now this is a fix. Like
Yeah.
now I have a way for a fix. And then I think it was like up until like I met my wife, I think I was like around 17. That's when I started sobering up again.
Okay.
So like a solid like 2 years, I was probably like from 15 to like 17. It doesn't sound like a big gap, but a lot happened in that gap.
Yeah.
And like I remember I was in and out of juvie for those 2 years too. I was in and out of juvie a lot. Actually got caught a few times like for violations and stuff. But
So you're still mixed in with the system.
yeah, I was still mixed in with the system the whole
What was
time.
going through your head like through all this? Like, were you like on the shit? Like,
Yeah,
it's never gonna stop.
yeah. That's exactly what went through my head.
Yeah,
I I I, I saw it as like a that was a high in its own, you know? It was
yeah,
like the whole how can I hide this from the probation? Now I went from hiding things from my mom to hiding things from POs. And
yeah,
then like them catching me and then it's like, oh, you're not like in my head, I'm like, they're not gonna find anything, and then they don't find anything, and then like I just go back to doing what I'm doing. And like it was just a cycle and it was a lengthy little cycle and I remember one time I think it was like around like 3 in the morning. I got caught at a house party. Or was it a house party? It was either a house party or a hotel. But I remember I got caught and like my POs came. And it was so funny because like I had given the cops a fake name and like they were gonna let me go and stuff. Like I was already
yeah.
like
Outsmarted the.
yeah, I was like I'm good, you know, like it's another notch to the high. And then like I see my POs coming because at the time I had two POs. I had my I wasn't on house arrest anymore, but he was still my PO for some reason. And then I had my traditional PO, which was just like my regular one. And like I remember they walked up and like I was already walking away and they're like hold on, like they're like that's Gonzalez, like bring him back over here. And then like yeah, they searched me and stuff and then I remember I was like I think I was pretty high off. I think I was pretty high too. And I remember I mouthed off to them, and then like next thing you know, like I was mouthing off, and the next thing you know, I was like looking at the sky, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I got my ass. These fools just beat like the POs and the cops just beat my ass,
Yeah,
and then like I got thrown in the cop car, and then like it was funny, like it was just a crazy event. And then they took me to right here downtown, the police station. I remember they were calling my mom. My mom was like, "I'm not gonna pick him up. Like you guys can either take him to San Jose or you guys can drop him off."
yeah,
I'm not gonna go pick him up. It was like 4 in the morning. And well, by the time it was all like already there, it was like 4 in the morning. And for some reason, I don't know why they didn't take me to San Jose. Probably because they beat my ass. Um, they probably didn't want to, I don't know, maybe they didn't want to deal with it. I'm not sure. But I remember they dropped me off. It was like 4 in the morning. And like I remember I went inside, I like changed my clothes and shit. And then like I took off again. And like I
yeah,
remember my mom was yelling at me. She's like, "I'm calling probation. Like you just got dropped off by the cops. Like, what are you doing?" And like I was just like, "Yeah, whatever, you know." Like I was just like, "Fuck it," you know. Like I took off, and then I think I got picked up by some friends, and then like we went somewhere else. We went to like an older friend's house, and like it was just things were back to normal. And then I remember the next day, my POs caught me off guard, and my PO was like, I gotta hand it to you." He's like, "You're a young kid living like a college lifestyle." He's like,
yeah,
I don't know how you do it. He's, I don't know why you're doing it. He's all, but you need to figure it out, you know?
yeah.
And I was just like, I was like, whatever. Like, I guess I'll figure it out eventually. And like, that's where like the whole, I thought I was like the shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just a dumb kid at the time. Looking back on it, obviously, you know?
And when did it get serious? Meaning, like, what was the charge that got you in the system where it was like no turning back? Like, right, like where you're at in the story, your mom's kind of not saying she gave up on you, but she kind of like she didn't know what to do.
Yeah, she knows for
Yeah,
sure.
it was out of her hands.
Yeah, my dad wasn't involved either at all. He kind of washed his hands with the whole thing after they split. Um, So the charge that got me like really in the deep end was like I remember we were all hanging out and like we got a phone call, hey, you know, so and so's over here or these people are over here, like, you know, come over, like come through. And like we went, you know, things happened. We all kind of like got down. It was a big old fight. I didn't do anything per se for the charges, but I mean, you don't tell on your friends, you know?
Yeah,
And I remember this happened like I don't remember what year exactly, but I remember this happened in like April. And I remember I was under investigation all the way up until I believe August, August or July or whatever's after August. And I remember throughout that period of time, like I'd get caught with stuff, I'd get like in trouble, and like I remember Gilroy PD would just like let me go. Like they'd just be like, "Oh, like we have something that we need to talk to you about, but we can deal with that like at a later time." And I was just like, "Okay, like whatever, you know."
And before they used to take you in.
Before they used to take me in, they used to like turn me over to probation, which was like weird, right, at the time. And there was a few times where like I got caught with stuff where like they should have took me to juvie, and like they kind of would just like look the other way. And obviously now that I'm older, it's like I get it. They're trying to stack a case. And so the whole thing that happened finally caught up. It's funny because now I'm with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. I remember we had went to the beach. It was funny this day. I'll never forget this day. It was like a day, like it was like a movie. Because I remember it was me, my two friends, or three friends, and I remember we had a program in Morgan Hill that we always had to attend. And then I remember we are like, oh yeah, when we're done with this program, we're gonna go to the beach. And then I had a liquor store in Gilroy that would sell me alcohol, even though I was underage. They would sell me alcohol all the time. And so I was like, all right, when we're out of this class, we'll go to the liquor store and then we'll head to the beach. Super funny. We get to the liquor store, right? Like me and my boy are like grabbing the beers to go to the front. And then next thing you know, we had the same probation officer. They both like walk in and we're like, oh shit. So we take off, and then, back to the thing, like they saw us
It was
together.
your probation
Well,
officer.
it was mine and his probation
Yeah.
officer. We had
You
the same
knew
PO.
right away something
Yeah,
was
I knew
up.
right away because I seen her,
It
right, walk
wasn't
in.
a coincidence.
No, I seen her and I was just like, because you could see out the window, and I seen her and I was like, oh fuck. So like I kind of dipped around and like went behind a shelf, and then like my boy ended up getting caught in the store by the probation, and I walked out, and then I think our boys and my girl was waiting for us in the car. I was walking out, and then next thing you know, like I think it's someone else's probation officer. There was like four POs. They were doing sweeps that day, and they're like, Gonzalez, come here, and I was like, fuck. And so they're like, they stopped us, they cited us, and that was it. They let us go on our way. So we went to another place to buy beer. Went to the beach. We actually ended up getting caught at the beach drinking, underage. All of us were underage, and then we
How
went
old were you
back.
at the time?
I was 17.
Okay.
At that time, I was 17. And then we went back to my friend's house, and then yeah, his house got raided with all of us there. And then that's when they told me about the charge. Like I remember, I actually got my ass beat upstairs in the bedroom hiding, because I was hiding upstairs. I was hiding upstairs, and my other
You're
friend.
fucking big, Ivan. So what were you hiding?
Yeah, I know. And then my other friend was hiding like in the room next door, right? And I remember like they caught him first, and all I hear is just like the scrambling, like the punching and shit. Hella funny. And then they open the closet, and I'm in the closet hiding, like, and fucking like you said, I'm hella big, so like they saw me right away,
Yeah.
and the fucking assholes were gonna taser me in the closet. So so I was like, as soon as I seen like the little beam, I was like, I fucking jumped out the closet. And I jumped out the closet, and then next thing you know, well, bam, I get hit, and then yeah, they take me down, and then fucking they drag me down the stairs and shit, and it was crazy. And yeah, they took me to Gilroy PD, and then that's where the detective was like, "Oh, we have this charge that we've been actually watching you for a while."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay," and like I was like, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I wasn't there, you know."
Yeah.
I thought it was shit. I was like, "I wasn't there."
Were you had any thought like, okay, this is big? Did you think it was big at the time when they
So
first brought you in?
in the room, yeah, in
Yeah.
the room, I realized it was big.
Yeah.
Because it was just like how you see like on the TV. It was like a little fucking room. Sorry, it was like a little
You're good.
room, just a little table, the chair, and like, dude, they let you cook. Like I remember he brought me in there. He's, "Oh, take a seat, because I'll be with you in a little bit." I remember this detective was super nice, the nicest guy I ever met. And I remember I was just sitting there, and it was going through my head. And you got to remember, like I was still like on things too, so like heart was racing, like I was freaking out. And I was just trying not to show it because I know they were watching.
Yeah.
None of that two-way glass was there. None of that bullshit was there. It was just a little room. And I remember he walks in. He's like, "Yeah." He's so you've been busy, huh? I mean, I guess so. And he's I got reports of you chasing people with a knife and stabbing people. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Oh, this guy got the wrong dude," like thinking in my head, "Well, this guy got the wrong dude. I didn't do shit."
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. And then pulls the reports out, eyewitness, and all that crap. And he's like, yeah, he's all this day, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I didn't do any of that. I was like, I just want my lawyer. I'm all kind of just take me back to the cell. And I remember this guy just kept talking to me, just kept talking to me, kept talking to me. He's trying to agitate me. And I just stayed quiet. I didn't say shit. Then finally, they took me to the back to the cell. And they had me segregated from the rest of my friends. My friends were in one tank, and I was in another tank by myself. Which I don't understand why they did that. Because when they transported us to San Jose to juvie, we were all in the same van. So whatever. And like when we were in the van, that's when I told everyone. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm all there talking to me about like this assault with a deadly weapon charge that is borderline like a attempted murder charge." And I was like, obviously, like I knew what they were talking about,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna play stupid. And I remember I got to juvie, and right away, like when I got there, they segregated me again right away. And then
So what was like? Were you? Because you're 17,
yeah, I was 17. I had
right?
just turned 17 actually.
And you're when they're taking you in. What was like? Were you scared? Were you? This is it, or were you like, this is who I am? Like this is what I signed up for.
Yeah, that's what I signed up for.
Uh,
I had already knew. Yeah, I had already knew. Yeah, I had already knew. Yeah, no, I had already knew
yeah.
because I remember they let you get a phone call in there, and I didn't call my mom. I remember I called my wife, Rena, or my girlfriend at the
Yeah.
time, Rena. I remember I called her and I was like, oh, I pretended she was my mom on the phone. And I was telling her the charges and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember these fucking peace officers, or whatever you call them, they were just beaming me because like they knew I was not on the phone with my mom. I know they knew. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was loud enough. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I remember I was telling her the charges, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm on. It's gonna be a little while. Because every time you get hit with a bit, not when you get hit, but when you do something stupid and you get caught, they always tell you the charge is this long, and it's not really always that long. It's always shorter, right? Because you got to fight it and stuff like that. I remember I was 17, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like this is a charge that is going to take you to adult court."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, it is what it is. And at the time, they tell you, I think it was like, well, just speeding it up. Like I had court the next day, and my mom couldn't make it. They were kind of shady the way probation did it. They didn't tell my mom what happened. They told her what happened, but they didn't tell her when I had court or nothing. So I went to court by myself, and I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't have anything. Like I remember, like what is it called? They're supposed to appoint you someone, right? And I
Public
remember a
public
public
defender.
defender, yeah. And I
Yeah.
remember the public defender they didn't even have one. They were short staffed. Yeah, shit was crazy. And I remember I went there and like they're reading me all this shit. They're telling me like, yeah, this is a sentence that could give you like a minimum of like 10 to 14 years.
Holy
Like
shit.
you will be going to CYA and stuff. And like at the time, I was just I was careless already. I didn't really
Yeah.
care anymore. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then went back to the dorms and like I was in the unit with my friends we got caught with.
Pause.
They gave me the spill after court, whatever. They told me go back to the dorm or a unit, go back to the unit. So I let all my buddies know, right? I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's going on. That's what they told me. And they're like, I remember the reassuring thing was like, oh, none of that stuff's gonna stick. Like we all know what really happened. And like they know I didn't do any of that. I was there, I was involved, but I didn't do anything as far as with the weapon or anything. And so dad just told me like just fight it, take it to trial. Like it might be lengthy, but you'll get out eventually. And so yeah, that was my life for the next about 6.5 months was in juvenile hall.
Did they try you as an adult
No, I got lucky. Actually, I got really lucky.
without a public defendant?
No, so going forward, the DA actually got in trouble because they did that whole. There's a lot of little things that happened that saved me in the long run. So I ended up getting a good lawyer. I remember I got a public defender who had just came. She had just went from being an adult lawyer, public defender, to a juvenile one, and she was like a profile lawyer. Like she actually dealt with those type of charges. So I was actually super lucky. And I remember she had said like, yeah, that for one, I wasn't supposed to be in the court without a parent present, right? So that's what they say, but it's happened before, right? And then like the fact that they didn't tell my mom and stuff like that, like they were trying to, how do they call it? They're basically trying to do all these things to like to get me stressed, to like pressure me into doing something,
Confession.
into confessing, either confessing and telling on my friends,
Yeah.
or confessing and taking the rap right away. Like, oh yeah, I did do that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And she was a super cool lawyer. And so
It saved
no,
your life.
she did. Honestly, she did. She honestly did. So going through that, you know, like I was already in the system, you know, week by week. And I remember like it was cold turkey getting sober in there too. That was the roughest part. And I remember like, yeah, I remember it was just like rough in there. It wasn't rough in there because it was hard in there. It was just rough because of like coming down from stuff and getting in shape and stuff. Because like, you know, you would work out just to feel good, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, there's fights in there that happen too. You gotta be ready for it. There's always somebody that's trying to, especially being a bigger guy, you know, there's always someone that's trying to press you.
Yeah.
There's always someone that wants to see what you're about. And
What was the biggest fight that you were in there?
it was actually with this other dude. I fought this guy maybe like 4 times. I fought this dude like maybe 4 times max throughout I did 11 and a half months total. And we fought like 4 times. Maybe I say three. Like the fourth one didn't really count,
Yeah.
but it was intense. And it was, yeah.
So they gave you 11 months, or how did you
Oh,
end up getting out?
well, no, so that big number, right, I told you about?
Yeah.
So throughout the course of the trial and stuff like that, right, we'll just speed it through because that's like kind of boring.
It's not boring. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened in between too, you know, but we could get back to that. But so basically, long story short, the eyewitness was a girl, I had went to school with her. The only reason she recognized me out of everyone that was there was because we had went to school together.
Yeah.
So when it came down to like everyone has to show up to court kind of thing, like the victim showed up and she didn't show up. She didn't show up for 3 court dates. And so the fourth court date was like either she shows up or she's gonna end up getting arrested kind of thing, you know? And what really saved me was that when I finally seen the victim face to face, I don't even remember this. I didn't even remember this guy. It's been so long, right? They had asked him, they're like, "Oh, do you recognize do they recognize me pretty much? Does he recognize me as the assailant or whatever, right?"
Yeah.
I think I said it right. And he said no. He's like, I don't, he's like, I've never seen him before, but from what I'm being told is he's the one that did it. And like, dude, you should like the little courtroom like was like chattered, like the DA was freaking out. They're like, what? Like, wait, like you were like this guy was supposed to get prepped for this, you know?
Yeah.
And
And
then
what were you like? How long you were in there for? 11 months before that?
no, I was in there for 6 months,
6 months.
on and off trial, on and off trial.
And then so you were stressed the fuck out.
I wasn't stressed out until the last 2 court dates,
Yeah.
until the court date where that happened, and then the court date after.
What was your reaction? Like, what were you?
The first time,
No, when he said he didn't recognize you.
I mean, when you're in there, you have to be stone faced
Yeah.
because your reaction, the judge will go based off of it, and that could throw it out too, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my face was stone cold, you know, but inside I was doing backflips. And no, yeah. So whatever happened, right? And then they're like, okay, we'll be back next week. We'll be back next week for the last court date. And that's the court date where I was going to get sentenced officially, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know where I was going to go. All these things were on the window, you know. They were talking about they were talking about, the lawyer was telling me that they were thinking about dropping the case, and then the adult court was going to pick it up and then redo it. Then I'd go to the adult court then, and it'd be like all over again, right? And then she was talking about how they could just completely dismiss it, and like I'd go home that day, or there's just a lot of what ifs, you know, a lot of what ifs kind of things. But at the end of the day, I knew they didn't have shit, you know. And so court came, and it was weird because usually like court's like in the morning. It's like they wake you up at like 7. You go to court by 8, right? Um, I remember they had pulled me to the interview room, and it wasn't my lawyer. It was actually it was a DA's assistant, and the DA's assistant showed me some mug shots and stuff, and they were from some of my friends, and they were like, "We know that you didn't do it." They told me, right?
Yeah.
It's confidential, obviously,
This
right?
is like a year,
Yes.
almost a year, and they're like, "Okay, we know you didn't do it."
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
know. I know.
you know how crazy
I
that
know. I
sounds?
know. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they started showing me mug shots, and like the mug shots were people that, you know, were there.
Yeah.
And like he was like, he told me straight up, he was like, the case will get dismissed, you can go home, but it's gonna stay open. And like we're gonna keep looking for who really did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I got played, you know, thinking back on it. Maybe they did play me in that aspect because I don't think they would have done shit about it. And then but then he was like, and then my lawyer came in, and then she was like, yeah, she's like, we can, or she's all, then she came in, and then they're like, you can either take a plea deal, you'll take a juvenile strike, and then, you know, obviously all this restitution and shit is gonna go to you, right? Because the dude was in the hospital for like a little while, and then and then they told me like, you'll go to James Boy's Ranch for anywhere from like, I don't know, I think the minimum was like 6 months to 12 months, right? Or that's the max, 6 to 12. And so I was like, once I seen the mugshots, I was like, fuck. I was like, all right, I'll make the case mine. So I pleaded guilty. I took the case, you know, I took the strike. I had already the strike prior from the drug charge. So this is my second juvenile strike now. And I was just like, fuck it, you know, like it is what it is. And at least I had an end date now.
Yeah.
Like I knew I had anywhere between 6 to 8 months to get out. And that was like the best thing ever in there, right? But looking back on it, I probably got played. I probably should have just said I didn't see anything and just let it get dismissed. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they didn't really know shit, anyways.
You took the fall.
But I took the fall. Yeah, I took the fall. I took the fall for the crime and the restitution financially. It
Yeah.
was about 30 grand in restitution because I had to pay for all the guys' hospital bills.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so keep this in mind. I'm out, or this is still going on when I get out, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward, I think it was April 2011, April 2011 or 12. No, April 2012 because Jade was born October 2012. And when you're in the James Boys Ranch, you get to go home on the weekends, right? As long as you have like a good program. But once you get close to your end date, that's what they call a what's it called? Like like when you're in there for so long, right?
Yeah.
They want to like
Weaning you off.
wean you back into the
Yeah.
regular world, right? What they call it, even though you're a youth, you know. So I remember, obviously, you know, my mom already knew like me and Marina were together for a long time, whatever, right? And so obviously, you know, we had Jade, you know.
Yeah.
Marina got pregnant while I was like halfway in, halfway out. Yeah. And so the day I got out was the day I had court too to find out how much restitution it was.
Yeah.
I was 18 years old, right? I was like, fuck. I had turned 18 in there actually. I believe. Yeah, I turned 18 in there. And so I remember when they let me out, I had to go to court. And then from the court, they gave me back to my parents, even though I was considered an adult at the time, right? And so in my head, like I'm like, dude, I'm getting out, can't wait. You know, obviously, Marina's been with me the whole time. You know, we're having a kid and stuff. Like things are looking good right now.
Yeah.
And then they hit me with the restitution bill, and they're like, "Oh, it's X amount." It was like I think it was at the end, it was like maybe 26 grand, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like I got a job through the James Boys Ranch. I was only making like maybe like even once I got out, I was only
Wait,
making
how much?
26 grand. Yeah, it's 26 grand.
Okay.
That's how much it was then.
Yeah.
Well, it's already paid off, but the James Boys Ranch had got me a job through Safeway, and then that's when I worked at Safeway. I was only making like $300 a week, minimum wage. You know, it
Yeah.
was 40. I think 40-hour work week was like $400 max. And so I had I had the whole 26 grand restitution, a baby, and then like it was a lot. And then I was trying to go to college too, you know, like I did try to go to college for a little bit. I did a semester and a half here at Gav while on probation and stuff. And yeah, that shit was rough.
So at this point, you were, I need to change my life around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
of
yeah,
the,
yeah. Because I knew I was having Jade. Not just because I knew I was having Jade, but I had this girl that was waiting for me this whole time. Like I finally had positives.
yeah.
Like why ruin them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's been a while since I had positives. Why ruin them?
A lot of people don't make that switch. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't. They're like, fuck it.
Well, I mean, I was clean and sober too, you know? Pretty sure if I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
clean and sober, I probably wouldn't have thought that way.
Yeah.
I had been off so much, like keep in mind, it's been 11 months cold turkey, you know?
Yeah.
And then I got out and stuff like that, worked and everything, still was fucking around, still doing stupid shit I wasn't supposed to be doing. I wasn't doing drugs though, but I was doing other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I was just trying to make money. And I remember I was fucking around all the way up until Jade was born. And then I remember Jade was born, and yeah, it just changed after that.
Yeah. You flipped the script.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why do you think you flipped the script?
Well, it just went from like I didn't always have my dad like in my life, you know. So I was like, I got this little girl. I'm looking at her, you know.
Yeah.
Like I got to be there, kind of thing, you know.
That's sick, dude.
And
Like,
yeah,
was it like a full switch? Like, what?
no, it was a full switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a full like I'm gonna take care of my family
Yeah.
now, and yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And then when did you, like, this is exactly why, like, I wanted to have you on. Like, that's fucking crazy. That whole, your youth, you didn't have a childhood.
Nah, I never
Oh,
went to prom. Never went to that shit.
yeah.
Never even went. I think I went to one high school dance, maybe
Yeah.
two max.
Making more money than all your friends. Like,
Well, at the
you,
time, yeah,
yeah, yeah. Before, I'm saying,
yeah, at the
like,
time,
it
yeah,
was, it was like you were already working. You weren't supposed to be doing what you're doing, but
yeah. At the time, I had a job, so I was the one making money. Yeah,
yeah.
but it kind of made my peers. Well, at least I think. I think it kind of did. I think it made a lot of my peers want to like get jobs too and stuff.
But I meet you when you're
You met me
I,
at the end of it,
yeah.
and like that shit's gone already.
Yeah.
But
But your values, like, you have pretty strong values. Like, you're a family man. You're loyal. I never hear you talk bad about anybody. Even sometimes when you don't like somebody, you kind of like, I'm not gonna say anything. Like, you have really strong values. Like, was this learned over time?
yeah,
Because from what you say, like, your dad wasn't really there, your mom was a single mom, and the only people that were around you weren't the good influences. And now standing in front of me is a dude that his values are fucking good compared to people that probably had great upbringings and money and went to college and I was like, what gave you those values? What
I
do you think
think
changed?
honestly, just experiencing all the negatives firsthand.
Yeah,
honestly, because you meet all sorts of people,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that want the best for you, and there's a lot of people that will fake that they want the best for you. And I think just collecting everything over the years, just meeting people, hearing people like because I've heard people's stories too, like and I always tell this to my wife, like when you vent your problems to people, it's always an out for someone to be like, oh shit, like my life's not that bad. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that sounds fucked up,
Yeah.
but it's the truth. And it's that's one of the best things I can say that like I've learned throughout everything is like I'm like there's always people that have it worse than you do. There's all the people that have it better than you. It just depends on what you do with it.
Yeah.
And like how you said, the way you see me is like that's what I want my kids to see me as.
Yeah.
That's what I want them to base when they're growing up and stuff. They get in their relationships or whatever happens. That's what I want them to see. Like, hey, you know what? Things weren't probably like the best, or we didn't have everything either. Because I'm not rich right now either.
Yeah.
Like I'm like we get me and my wife do good for ourselves, but I feel like
Fuck. My bad.
I feel like those are like learning like early morals and values, like you said. Like if you don't teach those to like a youth right away, they learn it. They'll learn the good, the bad, and the ugly from anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kind of just went through it all. I think not through it all because like I never went through adult prison or anything like that. I never wanted to go do that. But you just kind of I don't know. You kind of just see things for what they are, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're a young like, going through that whole trial thing and stuff like that, like I honestly felt like I didn't get seen as like a young kid that was like spiraling out of control. I just seen it as like this is a kid that we need to try for something that he did.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how like I take things going forward. It's like your first impression is the lasting impression. And that's like the most important thing you can do when you meet somebody. Just be yourself right away and just come correct right away.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when we first met each other, I could have been if I was an asshole and stuff like that. I'd been like, hey, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that makes sense, but
And then when we first met, we sparred, and you're like, "Fuck this guy."
yeah. But that just comes with that's the beauty of MMA. Like you get humbled and like when I get humbled, I'm like, fuck, dude, these guys kind of fucking piss me off. But then it's like, no, I need this.
Yeah.
And then like now I consider you one of my good friends, and like it's like I feel like the whole martial art thing is like it's a good window that opened up a lot of doors for me.
And going into that, like, when did you start doing martial arts?
So it was 2019.
So you were 28,
It's
20,
25.
25,
No, I was thinking I was 25.
25?
Yeah, because was it? I'm 30 right now,
Yeah.
and that was what 5 years ago.
Yeah. We'll do the math.
Yeah, so I was 25, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 25, 26.
No athletic background.
No, I
No.
played soccer growing up.
Okay.
I played soccer for a long time, like 6 years. I
Okay.
actually hated it. Yeah, I hated it. That was my mom's out for me to stay away from the streets, was keep me in a sport.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I hated soccer. I was never good at it either. A lot of people that I probably played with will agree too. I played soccer and then obviously when I got out, I was in shape and stuff, right? From all the push-ups and pull-ups and dips and shit.
But there were still 5 years from 20 to
Yeah, so from that gap, I was just lifting weights. I
yeah.
was like lifting weights. I was like powerlifting and doing like we were always in the gym. Me and my wife, we were in the gym. I went on like a huge like that was that was another way to stay on the right track too. Was having like a structured program because that's what I learned from in there. It's like if you have a program, it's hard to keep you off of. It's easy to keep you like busy and away from like things that aren't like uh, motivational and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Or are unhealthy, right? And so Yeah, we used to go to the gym all the time. I think we were like in the gym like 5 days out of the week, and we were always working out. And then when I got into MMA, it was like during COVID, and this was like way after. So I was like, and I went through a period too where like I gained a bunch of weight, and I was kind of depressed, and I was like, I think I was like 290, I think, when I joined Ant Dogs. Yeah, I was a big dude. I was a big fat dude, but I wasn't fat. I guess I carried it well.
Yeah.
And then I met Coach Ant, and Coach Ant. So I've had a few coaches throughout my life, mentors and stuff throughout the system too. And like Coach Ant was a solid dude. He's from Gilroy, and I could tell, we could like there's things we could relate to. And I remember I used to do personals with him all the time. And I remember my first day with him, right? He had me doing footwork drill. Dude, I was like 290, right? 280, 290. And I think it was like he had me do footwork drills for like a bell on, bell off kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember that first bell, I was just dying. I was like dying. I was like, dude, I was like, how to get this bad?
Yeah.
And then we kept doing personals, and then finally coach was just like, hey, you know what? Like the gym's gonna open back up, like COVID's kind of like going down. Like just start doing the classes and then like we'll go from there. And I remember like he used to invite me to do jiu-jitsu. That's when I first met like Tom and like a few people. And I remember I first came and I remember I was like, yeah, I'm this big dude, bro. I didn't think that when I walked in, but that's what I thought in my head. Like
Yeah. You came from going to the youth to the ranch, fighting a guy 4 times.
yeah,
Like you have already been in fights.
yeah.
So
So like I kind of thought like I knew what was going on.
yeah.
And then I fought in the street and stuff too. But and I remember I walked in, it was jiu-jitsu day, right? I remember I walked in, I was like, fuck, dude, I was getting just destroyed by like guys that were like smaller than me, and I remember like just getting destroyed. And I remember I was just like in my head, I was like, you know what, I gotta get good at this. And then that's where it kind of just I got addicted to doing this now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and now, it's been like what's 2009. It's been like 6 years now. And
2019.
or 2019, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been like what, like six years or something.
And you're a blue belt, right?
I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Yeah. Now you're taking on more striking. You're
Yeah,
doing
now
more
I'm taking on
striking.
more striking thanks to Jesse.
Yeah. That's
but but no, MMA's been like a huge thing because like I mean I my patience level isn't the greatest as it is, but like once I got into the MMA and like the whole like like being more patient, seeing like kind of like taking a step back and seeing things for what they are, kind of thing. Like it's helped out a lot because like it helps out. It helped out all around with everything.
yeah.
Because like I feel like you can't always just be like explosive. You gotta like you gotta just take things calmly. But I feel like MMA like had a huge thing with that.
Yeah. And then you're like around the one thing I like about here at Ant Dogs is because you're around pro athletes that literally do this for a living.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you're on the mat with them, and then you're going to work and raising a family, and you're getting like you're looking at these guys that are fucking do it for a living, and they're calm. They're the most calmest people. Like
Yeah.
Coach Han's like super calm.
Yeah, Coach Ant's super calm,
So it's like,
super tempered.
yeah. So this is like you're like, oh, I can't. Like in my head, I look at before I started training, and I look at pro athletes now, and I'm like, oh, they could whoop my ass, but why are they so calm? You know, it's but you are like I feel like you're one of the calmest big dudes I've met. But you brought your family into this too,
Yeah, I
right?
brought my kids into it. So once the whole COVID thing was going on, coach reopened the kids class. I told my wife, I'm like, yeah, I just want the kids to. Well, I saw how coach is with his kids,
Yeah,
like with JoJo, with Ant and Alexa, and like, coach. Obviously, coach is a good dad. You can tell. You can
yeah,
see it. His kids are good kids too. And I figured, you know what, like. Once he told me that the kids classes were starting, I was like, you know what, I'll get my kids into this too, see how it goes, see if they like it.
yeah,
And you know, plus, I don't want my kids just being home all day doing nothing.
yeah,
So they have to do something. like even if they don't come here, like not obviously not that they're older, if they don't come here, like as long as they do a sport or they're in the act like a physical gym, like I don't care as long as they're active, you know,
Yeah.
because I don't want them just home on their devices. But no, I brought the kids along, and then I mean the kids do really the kids do really well. You know, Jade does a good job. Ivan does a good job. I mean, you know, Ivan's
He's a
dude.
character.
He's a character. Yeah, he's wild. You know, and I see myself a lot in both of them together. You know, because I I was 50-50. I was like timid like Jade, and then I was wild like Ivan.
Yeah.
And then kind of like throughout the youth, I was just more wild. Like the timidness went away. But I mean, the kids like it, you know,
Yeah.
and it's been good, you know. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's been really good. I'm actually glad I found this gym and like jujitsu and stuff, and then just the whole like I mean, we're all cool with everybody in here, you know.
Yeah.
Like Toast is always on my ass to come train. Like you're telling me, hey, if I'm in here and they're striking, you're like, why aren't you in striking class? You know,
Yeah.
and it's like everyone, it's different being around a bunch of people that want everyone to do better,
Yeah.
and that in its own self is like an addicting thing, you know, because it's like this is a huge comfort zone. It's like you come here and like you know everyone's here for the betterment of each other, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a I feel like that's hard to find in general.
Would you say it's something that you needed as a kid?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like,
For
can you
sure.
imagine, like looking back at it now, like going full circle, like where you're at now, ooh, and then where you were, like, was it like you told me before this? You told me before this, like, I don't know why you want to podcast with me, like, kind of like just didn't really know what kind of story you had. I sometimes I think you don't even think what's that you don't even think that your story is rare, you know. But it's like looking back at it now after you said it all, like how
Yeah.
do you feel about it? Like,
I mean, it's a little wild. It's a little wild, you know, but
yeah,
it's a little wild. I mean, I don't think any like youth should go through that, but I mean, it happens, you know.
yeah,
But
uh,
no, for sure, definitely. Like if I had, and this isn't just me, it's like any youth in general had it. It's all about a support system, you know.
yeah,
I think any that's the most important thing. Like a youth has to have a strong support system because if not, it's like when you're an adult, it's like you kind of know like, hey, like at the end of the day, like I got to do this, this, and that. You know, when you're a youth, it's like you don't got to worry about bills. You don't got to worry about you don't gotta worry really about anything. You know what I mean? Like you're just living life when you're a youth,
yeah,
and I think I did that a lot. You know,
yeah,
but no, for sure. Like if I had a good support system, you know, like I think it would have been definitely different because I mean, the same thing like MMA, jiu-jitsu, everything. I'm a huge knucklehead, you know, like a huge stubborn guy. And like you probably don't see that, but it's like this definitely helped me big time.
yeah.
Because like I mean, I can still be like that too. My wife will attest to it all day. But
I just find it, I find it super crazy because like all these things, all these values you're talking about, the support system. Like, as a kid, you had none of that, and
no,
then now as an adult, you instill that in everything you do,
yeah,
and then into your family
yeah, you
as
have
well.
to. You got to live by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got to live by it because you just have to live by it. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was a youth, I did have a support system.
yeah,
I had a somewhat decent one, right? Or I guess you couldn't say decent. I did have people that wanted to steer me in the right direction, but at the same time, there was a lot of judgment too, though.
yeah,
A lot of like, it wasn't like necessarily a positive either, you know. So I think that's what kind of would make me as a youth spiral more into like that F it, like fucking kind of mindset, you know.
yeah,
But No, as an adult now, and a young, well, somewhat young dad. Like my daughter's 12, she's gonna be 13, and it's like I remember I tell my wife this all the time, like shit, the things with me, because she comes from a broken home too,
Hmm.
her story is just she has a rough story too, and I feel like that's why we just fit like a puzzle piece so well
Yeah.
because we share the same trauma almost, and I remember we talked to each other. I'm like, dude, like things we were doing when we were 12, like what the fuck, like.
Uh,
I'm like here I am, like I let my daughter go hang out with her friends, like I let her do stuff, I don't think she's ever experimented with anything,
uh,
I hope not. But I honestly have this, me and my wife both have this like trust relationship or just a relationship in general where like I feel like she would tell me like I'm doing all right,
yeah.
like I'm doing all right. Like I think I'm doing all right.
It's
Uh,
like, what are your goals now?
my goals now,
Yeah.
my goals now is to support my kids, dude, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Is to get them to wherever they want to go.
Hmm.
I honestly don't really think about myself anymore. I'm honestly at that point. I've actually been at this point in my life for the last few years to where, like, whatever money we make or anything like that, it's to help them.
Yeah.
Because, like, even when I tried to go to college, like, I couldn't afford it. My
Hmm.
mom couldn't afford it to help me either. And, like, I don't want that to be an obstacle for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, obviously, my goals are to still train. I mean, my biggest goal, to be honest with you, is like I want to be a black belt.
Yeah.
Like, that's my goal. Like, I want to at least be able to like knock that off the list, be a black belt. Um, I just love jiu-jitsu. I love the like, even though I'm not a biggest fan of striking, like I've gone to like striking a lot more now, and I just yeah, like just to stay like honestly stay healthy, and I just want my kids to be better than me.
Hmm.
And like I'm pretty sure I speak for my wife when I say that, but or like we can like we both agree, like we want them to obviously be better than we were,
Sick.
because that's the goal, like I don't know.
Is there anything you want to shout out? Anybody? Like anything to wrap it up?
Uh, just my wife and kids, shout them out, shout out Coach Ant Dog, for he has played a major role in like the last like 6 years of my life for sure.
Yeah.
Whether he knows it or not, I don't ever tell him. I feel like that's kind of like a weird area, but shout out to him, seeing everything, firsthand. And then, like for sure, my wife and kids, because without my wife being there, being my wife was my main support system throughout my youth and early adult.
Uh,
To where like if she wasn't around being so supportive, like putting herself to the side to make sure my mental health was fine, like we probably wouldn't be here either,
yeah.
And then obviously like the kids, they're if I didn't have them as a why, because everybody always says, what's your why? Like I'm sure you've heard that,
Yeah.
like why do you do this? Why do you do that? Or why do you work two jobs or whatever, right? If I didn't have my kids as my why, then I'd probably be doing whatever,
Hmm.
Probably wouldn't have so much discipline. Probably wouldn't have those values.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I have three whys in my life that the best thing ever.
Cool. Hey, thank you, Ivan.
Yeah, no
You do
problem.
have a story, Doug.
Little story.
Appreciate you, man.